Hello and welcome to a City Voices interview with Renu Paryani, who is a practicing shaman in the modern world. And I would like to welcome you, Renu. Hi.
Hi, Dan.
It is very early morning in Hong Kong is where you are, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
And it is 5 p.m. here in New York City. And I want to thank you for graciously coming at this crazy hour. Um, so let's get right into it because I know you don't have a lot of time. Can you tell us about shamanism and shamanism in the modern world?
As per my, I started shamanism like around, you can say, 15 years ago with meeting some of the shamans from Peru. And I also learned Muneki rites from one of the students of Alberto Vivaldo. And at that time, it was just initiation of 9 rites. Not much information given, just the initiations done on me. And at that time, I did feel a lot of pulling to understand the history of souls and how the spirits work. How do they do the work? What is energy? Understanding what is how does the nature work, and how does the body work when there is extra energy coming in after doing the initiations. And mm, later on I studied further, and that is when I understood that as per me, I feel that the soul does get defragmented, and through soul retrieval, through other things, small initiations, you can say shamanic initiations, or you can call for other words where some parts of the soul do come back. And that is the main job of a shaman, to put the soul back into the body so that the person starts becoming whole, becomes more conscious, realizes what's happening around him and what is the right thing to do for them.
When you talk about the soul, what is the soul?
Uh, so let's say we are a human being, a body. Now, there is something when you are born that the body is conscious about, and that is the soul. It is something that is making us do things, making us understand that this is right, this is wrong. As we grow older, we become smarter. It is the connection of the soul that they want. You meet people, you understand, you feel that, oh, I like this person, I don't like this person. It's all about the connection of the soul that you feel certain things. You start understanding certain things. You go through certain trauma in life, and then you feel, oh, I am not the same. Why? Because the soul got a part of your soul got missing somewhere. So that is the reason, that is the conscious, you can say, a conscious mind of the soul that gets either separated from you or comes back to you. And that is what the human person is.
Can you discuss with us the three different kinds of suffering, mental, emotional, and physical, and also how a shaman treats these things?
Uh, when a shaman sits for healing for someone, usually they connect with their helping spirits. It's not only the shaman that does the work. It's the guidance of the helping spirit that the shaman takes. And as the spirit guides the shaman, we do the work. We don't consider it at that moment what is all these three things separate. It doesn't become separate for the shaman. The shaman guides the helping spirit guides us in how to do the work, whether the person needs a soul retrieval. There is something also called power animal retrieval, and we also do some extraction. So we do three, four things and then judge whether the person is needing those. Away from doing the shamanic work with the helping spirits, I have also worked with the Peruvian shamans for moving energy. Once I always judge what is needed, and very helpful comes this helping spirit to guide me how to work on the particular person. At that moment, it's only the work that is done. We cannot divide it by saying, oh, he needs more physical treatment. As per a shaman, a good shaman would always say, if you are going through a certain treatment in the physical world by taking certain medications or um, treatment, physical treatments or medications, whatever, we would say continue for some time and see how the doctor or your psychologist suggest. We would never ask you to stop it. After the treatments, person suffering especially from mental issues, we would give it some time for a person. There is a thing that the shamans believe that if the problem came right now, it can be solved. But if the problem exists for, like, let's say 2 years, 5 years, it always takes double or triple the amount of time to solve it. It can't go right away. But yes, with the healing of a shaman, it could be solved so that you can continue living a better life. So we
How did you meet your helping guiding spirit? Can you talk about that?
um so there are multiple ways of connecting to your guiding spirits. I had taken a course in Michael Harner's shamanic journey, and Sandra Ingerman. They both teach a shamanic journey where they we listen to the drum beats. The drums, if they are played, the beats help us reach to an altered state of consciousness within few seconds. Once you reach to the altered state of consciousness, shamans believe that there are three worlds, which most of the religions also talk about. Even in Hinduism, the old Puranas, they speak about the three worlds: the lower world, the middle world where we are living in, and the upper world. We go to the lower worlds, we journey ourselves an out of body experience to go and find our helping spirits in the upper and the lower world. These spirits, once they come to you, that means they are going to help you and guide you with your own healing, initially as we connect with them. Later on, as you become more and more working into the same practice, as you spend more and more spirits join in. So you can say initially you connect, it is important for us to connect with one in the lower world and one in the upper world to give us the teachings and the understandings. And as we go on, more and more join in.
What is the difference between a spirit and soul. Does a spirit have a soul like a human has a soul? What is the relationship?
So now this is a very disputed topic because different people talk about different. Some say there is no spirit; it's just the soul. Some say it's both. So, as per the Andean shamanic wisdom, they believe that when a human person is conceived in the mother's womb, the spirit comes in, and when the child is, so it's the connection. As soon as the connection happens between the sperm and the mother's cell, the spirit is there. It's a part of the spirit that comes in. And when the baby grows in the womb and everything, when the child is born, separated from the mother's body, that's when the soul comes in to the body. Before that, it's only just the spirit that's growing. Whereas other cultures just believe that it is conceived a few months later on, a few weeks later on, when the fetus starts developing the limbs. It's very difficult, and I wouldn't want to get into that differentiation because it doesn't really matter at that time. Most part, what is important really to understand is when the child is born from the mother's womb, the child starts experiencing trauma. As soon as the child is born, at first the nurse hits the child. That's the first trauma the child receives, for the child to cry. And later on, as the child grows, small traumas start coming, and each of them needs to be worked on and healed. As we grow older, or even when we are as a child, each trauma needs to be addressed in a different way. Until the parents are there, they keep on showering the love and the care that they give. The child keeps on growing healthier and healthier because of the trauma being addressed with love. As we grow older, somewhere things get lost and we are not able to receive from our parents, and we start looking outside for for happiness to be coming from different sources. If we go into our inward journey and realize that how our soul works, or try to make a connection with our soul, it would be very easy to find happiness.
Um, you mentioned earlier that you as a shaman help people to become whole again, that for their souls to become whole again, and that a lot of the problems and pain we feel is because we have fragmented souls. So let us talk about psychosis. Psychosis, according to psychiatry, is a separation from whatever is considered material reality. What is the shamanic perception and view of psychosis, and how is that treated in a shamanic manner?
We we try to do many journeys for the person to understand, first of all. The shamans believe that when the person goes through the trauma, a part of their soul leaves the body. It is very common that you would hear from people saying that I'm never the same after I had this accident. I'm never the same when I went through a divorce, after the divorce. Or I'm never the same after my mother passed away. Why do people say that? Because they feel that the kind of life or the kind of feelings they had before is missing. Something has become less. Somewhere, something has happened and it's changed. They feel some emptiness in them. When a shaman sits for a healing session for a person, we are always looking for that missing reality that has gone off from the person. What comes back could be what was missing at that time that the person believes, or it could be something which is very, very old. That means the person was very young. We cannot judge on that because we have to wait for what comes. And when we get it, when we give it to the person feels much complete. You can see a difference after a healing session, usually, especially people who are having mental issues. There was a patient, a schizophrenia patient whom I was working on. Um, I wouldn't say that this person, I could feel a immediate difference because at that time I hadn't done my 3 years advanced course with Michael Harner. But yes, the family could feel that he's more calmer now. He's not overreacting. I didn't get the chance to sit after the first session because I was doing the healing when I was traveling to Bangladesh. Um, the more sessions that we do and the more pieces of souls we bring back, the bigger the difference you start seeing. Now, you will also start seeing a personality change in the person. It could be that there is because the person becomes weak due to the trauma. Weak in the sense is mentally weak because they have had fragments, so many fragments of their soul which have left. When you start bringing them one by one, you will start seeing that the person is much more complete. That's what I mean by saying complete. One or two sessions will start showing the difference because for me, I feel that it's a portion. I could say, like, sometimes I really don't know. It's difficult to judge whether a bigger portion came back or a smaller portion came back, depending on how the person believes. I also started noticing that people who were on medications, the doctors felt that the medications could be reduced. Like one of my clients, she was on prednisone, and the doctors reduced within a span of, let's say, 6 to 8 months, 50% of the dosage was reduced.
As the healer, as you being the healer, how do you experience when someone when one of your patients is becoming more whole and healing? How does that what does that feel like to you?
There is a happiness, but there are some patients that need constant care. For me, it's all a part of work. As a shaman, I wouldn't like to take on having like more than a few cases always in hand. I would like to work on few of them, let's say three, four or something, and then make sure that more of the work is finished and then move on to new patients because a lot of energy goes in on working with these patients. A lot of you can say that guidance that we get from the spirits that needs to be addressed. Make sure that the person is doing well. Keep a constant connection with the patient so that we reach up to a certain level. And then we feel, as a shaman, we ourselves feel Because when we sit for the healing session, we feel that the spirits are not passing so many messages. Okay, the work is done. I think it's almost now. It's the person's journey, how serious they want to take themselves, which way the things turn out. In the end, it's also the person's karma. No matter how much we try, if the karma is also plays a big role. If some things are not meant to happen, they would not happen.
How do you experience the spirit world? What do you see? What do you feel? What do you smell, taste, emotionally experience? How do you experience the world of spirit that is invisible to most everyone?
It's all about growth. The more you work on it, it's just like a teacher teaches the student more about ABC, and then the student starts making sentences, and the student can write essays, and the student goes ahead and understands what is history, what is geography, biology, like that. So the more you work on it, the more experience you gain. Initially, and every person is different. The more you journey, the more many people just could feel things. Some people feel the heat, some people feel the cold when they are in touch with certain spirits. Every spirit is different. Certain people can see things, they can visualize more. Certain people can just smell it. As you grow, as you work more and more, you start feeling all three of them together also. So it's different. Each person is different. Each spirit is different. Sometimes the spirit can literally talk to you. Sometimes the spirits just pass on the message. The messages come to you when you so the basic thing to start with is we start with the lower world, and we have to journey, and then we go to a forest, and we try to find a power animal. When you find a power animal, it doesn't immediately start communicating with you also, or you couldn't it could take you many days to find your helping spirit. It's not easy. You have to have the patience, you have to keep on working a certain belief. You start enjoying these journeys because you start seeing things, or you start feeling things. It becomes very you can feel just like you're in a movie, sometimes. Things are happening, something happened here, something happened there, kind of like that experience you start getting. You start initially with just 15 minutes journeys. As you grow older, or you are working more and more, you can go on to to longer journeys depending on how the requirement is. Just like one of my friend's son, he went through an accident, and I was told to sit for the person, but it required that I had to sit for the person every 15 minutes, let's say like 4 or 5 times in a day, because the accident had happened. The parents couldn't reach to the son, and it was this requirement from the journeys that my helping spirits were asking me, no, wait, wait, continue being with the person. So every journey is different, every person is different, every incident is different. And so once you connect with your helping spirits, it really helps solve, or I would say, yeah, achieve certain um, goals given by the helping spirits. You could yeah.
Are these journeys like the journey to find a cure?
So when we start a session for a person, we ask the person, "Do you have a healing that you really want?" Or do you have some questions that you want answer for in life? Like, let's say a very simple question that I have a back pain. Can you help me? Or I have a blurred vision. Can you help me? So what happens is when we sit for the journey, we initially need the person's full name and current location. Their house could be anywhere. We just need their current location. When I am sitting for the person, we journey, we go to that location with our helping spirits. We work on the person, and for as soon as I start working with the person, I ask the spirits that this is the question from the person. It could be a completely different answer from the spirits. The spirits don't understand time, first of all. For them, the question could be that when am I going to get the job, or when am I going to travel? When is going COVID going to go away? It's difficult for the spirits. They don't understand time. Time is not a reality for them. They would be giving a different kind of answer, or they would be just, for some spirits, it's just um, they just show you a visual and you don't know what to do. There is no answer for it. We have to have the patience to understand and to let things happen the way they are slowly.
Do your patients have to have faith in you as a healer or believe in shamanism?
Yes, of course. You have to have faith that there is something that is bringing this change, and it will come slowly. Might be very slowly, might be very sudden for some people. Depends.
Can you work with a patient who is skeptical or unbelieving?
Yes, we can. We don't mind trying. We should give one or two tries at least. The patient could, we, there are different ways of let's say there are different ways of making the patient agree for a session. First of all, we would try our best, then we would give some time and say, okay, if not now, let's wait for some time, and then again try. There's no harm in trying every time. I'm sure somewhere something is going to work if the person has. I believe in also in destiny. How me and you, how we met. There is a reason why we met. I live in Hong Kong. You live in States, so far away. How did we connect? Might be there is something. Let's explore it.
Now, you can provide a healing to someone using, for instance, the Zoom platform. Space and time don't mean anything to spirits, so a healing can happen anywhere. And like you said, all you need is their name and location, right?
Yes, yes.
Very good, very good. All right, as we conclude this interview, I would just ask one final question, and that is, if you search your heart, is there something that you feel we haven't discussed yet that you want to impart to the listeners?
Um, there is something very important that I learned from the Andean shamans, and that is that keep yourself always powered up, no matter how many healing sessions you can take or you don't take. Keep yourself always powered up. Be strong. Never lose control of yourself, even if you lost control. Take out some time and be yourself always. Go out in the nature or spend some time, give time to yourself. Make that inner connection with yourself.